Hello, everybody. I'm Connie Stewart.
And I'm Christina Stewart.
With SimplySimpleStamping.com. We're so glad that you're joining us today. Doing things a little bit different. I've never had Christina on a video before. I don't know. So even though Christina grew up as a Stampin' Up! Kid and been around stamping pretty much her whole life, she's never really been a big stamper, mainly because of space in your home and college, things like that. So I decided to invite her over to my stamp studio today, and I'm going to challenge her to do a kit, a card kit. Now, what's great about these card kits is everything you're going to need is right there in the box, right?
Yeah.
And she's never even seen it before. So we're going to surprise her. We're going to open up the kit. Now, for those of you who are going, oh, Connie, I don't do kits. I like to make my cards the old-fashioned way. Don't worry, because I've got some bonus cards that I'm going to use inspiration from the card kit. So for my stampers out there who love to follow my videos, don't worry, I've got something for you too. So are you ready to take this challenge?
I'm so ready.
Let's do it.
So here we have our kit. It comes in this adorable little box, which is so nice. I could always use more small boxes for gifts and things, and just putting the card over the Stampin' Up! Logo and nobody will know that I'm stealing Stampin' Up! Boxes. This kit comes with everything you need, which is awesome. I don't have a lot of space at my house. While Connie has her Stampin' Studio, I have my stamping shoebox. So everything being able to fit in this compact little box is so nice. It has everything you need. You don't need to have any products already purchased. You've got your paper, your envelopes, your stamps, your ink pad, your block. You've got your glue dots, your dimensionals. Everything you need is already in here. I also appreciate that there's extra stamps in the set. It's not just the sentiments that they created for these projects. There's a couple other extra stamps in there, so if you want to switch out your sentiment, you can. There's some extra little flowers in there as well, so you can add your own little personality to some of these cards, as well as use the stamp set again for future projects, which is really, really nice. I appreciate how much is already done for me in this kit. I love that these little fruits and flowers and things are already stamped for me. They're already cut out for me. I would not have the time to get all of this done, and I just wouldn't. I would be giving you a plain green card base that said thank you somewhere on it. So it's nice to have all of these things pre-done for you. It goes so fast. Even the envelopes are already made cute for you. I don't know if I'm allowed to have favorites, but I think this card was definitely my favorite for the kit. Everything is so cute. And the other nice thing, as you could see there, I messed up my stamping. I was a little bit off, and so you just flip it over. Cardstock is two-sided, and even if I had messed up both sides, there are extras in the box so that you can fix those little mistakes. This card just came together so easy. I was not stuck poring over instructions and reading all these little details to try and make it cute. Everything is done just through pictures, and it comes together so easily. I'm a creative person, but it takes a lot for me to be inspired. So in order for me to come up with something like this, I would be scrolling through Pinterest for about 65 hours and then staring at my cardstock forever, trying to figure out what to do to make it cute. And so having this already ready for you with all the ideas ready to go is just awesome. I also love that the card base is already embossed and it's got this nice shininess to it. It makes for some great texture, and then you can just quickly decorate your envelope.
All right, Christina, you did it.
I did it.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
What did you think?
I loved it. This was an excellent way to create something without it taking up too much space, and I really enjoyed it. It was therapeutic and fun.
Did you think about people you wanted to send the cards to as you were making?
Yeah.
Thank you cards is something we all need to send.
Yeah.
I taught them. I taught my girls, you got to send those thank you cards, right?
All right, so now Christina has created 3 really amazing cards. And as I promised you at the beginning of the video, I'm going to take them and I'm going to use these as inspiration. So I'm excited to share with you 3 additional cards. So if you purchase this kit, you've got cards you can make in a hurry. I'm going to show you how to use maybe stamp sets you already have in your stash, how to take them up a notch. So here we go. We're going to start with this thank you card right here. So for this card, I'm going to use the stamp that says, all I can say is thanks. And remember, we got that block in the kit, so I'm going to go ahead and use the block. Now, here's something interesting. There are a couple additional stamps in this little stamp set that were not ever used on the card. We're going to use this cute little guy right here. So vertical blooms caught my attention. You see how we've got these great hanging vines, and I thought, you know what? Flip that one around and I've got a vine. We've got some flowers we can put on it. And there's also this great little stamp. So again, remember guys, it's all about your creativity. I have got a piece of bubble bath cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have a piece of basic white, 3.5 by 4 3/4. And then I have a little piece of bubble bath. This is 1 inch by 2 3/4. I mean, you can see it's not even going to use a lot. So I'll tell you what, we are going to start creating our vines. I'm going to put some grid paper underneath me. And remember, we got that little evergreen, evening evergreen Stampin' Spot. Let's use it. So I'm going to bring in my stamp. Let's ink this up. I'm going to stamp that right there in the middle of my cardstock. I'm going to repeat that on either side. I'm now going to do my sentiment. By the way, if you've never used the little Stampin' Spots, these things are awesome. They're really great if you need to travel with them as well. But I'm going to stamp. All I can say is thanks. And before I put that evening evergreen away, I'm just going to lay my sentiment right there because I told you there was a cute little, kind of a little decorative stamp. So let's stamp this on either side of my sentiment. Then we had that cute little guy that was in the stamp set. Like I said, I love that Stampin' Up! Gives you a couple little extras. I'm just going to use those as some extra, give it a little bit of something there. Now I'm going to be using ribbon across the front, so I'm not worried about that just yet. We're now going to bring in our additional stamp set, and I'm only going to be using these two, or not stamp set, forgive me, my ink pad. We're only going to use 2 ink pads today. So bubble bath and that evening evergreen spot. All right, let's add some flowers here. This is a 2-step stamp. So this is going to allow me to put my flowers right on top. Love vertical blooms for this. You can see it just sits right on top. Oh, I'm going to move that out of my way. I don't want to accidentally hit it. Let's repeat that. Again, can you see how the flowers, they line up beautifully. And here's the thing, even if you don't get them perfect, it's still all good. But I love the evening evergreen and that bubble bath together. It's so very pretty. All right, stamping done. That was incorrect. My stamping is not done. I am now going to come in with the bubble bath. I wanted to give my background piece a little something. This stamp that I'm using here in the corner, this is from the Vertical Blooms. We'll add that there. I cleaned that little decorative stamp. This is just going to kind of fill in, make our background a little bit nicer. I've got about 4.5, maybe 5 inches of ribbon. And what I want to do is I want to adhere this right down the center in between my stamping. And so let's just use a little bit of Stampin' Seal to just press that right there in place. You guys know I love me some Stampin' Dimensionals, and I'm actually going to use a dimensional right over where that ribbon sits. It's just going to give me a little bit of extra security. We'll peel off the backings and we can add this to the front of our card base. All right, now with my all I can say is thanks, we're actually going to bring in some more Stampin' Dimensionals. Let's add about 3. Remember, we didn't adhere it. We just laid it there as kind of just a holding place so we could put that there. I'm actually going to add a bow to this. So I'm using, oh, by the way, I didn't tell you this ribbon. This is the sheer combo. Fabulous in Bubble Bath and in Lemon Lolly and Azure Afternoon. I'm going to use a mini glue dot. And you notice how I just press that bow. In fact, if you have any of the little adhesive dots from your kit, you could use those as well. And we're just going to add ourselves a sweet little bow right there. Oh my gosh, right? I love how I just kind of took the design from the kit and created another thank you card. Let's do another one. Our next card was A Million Thanks with that great big heart behind it. Let me share with you what I created. I brought in my country bouquet and was able to create a very similar card. I just let this be the inspiration. Let me share with you what you need to create this card. Again, simple supplies. 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4.25 in bubble bath. My basic white, 3.25 by 4.75, and then I have just a little piece here. This is 3/4 by 3.5. Yes, 3.5. Just wanted to make sure I had that right. And then I've just got a little ribbon knot for this one. Here, just like we had on this card, I'm going to say a million thanks. In the country bouquet, we had this fabulous little set of flowers. It was going to make a great background. Now, majority of this is going to be covered up, so I'm only going to focus on the outside edges. I'm not going to worry at all about the middle. Do you notice how I just kind of rotate my stamp around because I want it to have a feel of random? There we go, and like I said, most of that will be covered up, so all I had to do was get the edges. All right, let's come in now with our Evening Evergreen, and it's another 2-step stamp. So this is my green, so let's go ahead and we'll bring in our little spot. By the way, if you have the larger ink pads, go for it. I like to kind of save my little minis for travel. Like I said, I like to keep these into my RV, or if I'm going on a little trip and I might want something to do in the evenings, you know what? Doing a little stamping is awfully nice. Just stamp that right there in the middle. So that's going to give me all that great greenery. Now let's come in with Bubble Bath, and we're going to go right on top of it. Again, 2-step stamping. If this is new to you, I'm telling you, it is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And voila, I mean, it's just gorgeous, right? Now there is another little stamp in here that I just loved. And I noticed we had some greenery coming off of this card. So let's add a little bit of that greenery. I'm going to take my Evening Evergreen and I'm going to stamp off, and I'm just going to add a couple of these. Do you see how it's a lighter color? It's a great way to get more than one color from your ink pads. Now my sentiment's going to go right across there, so I think I'm going to add 3 on each side. I'm going to bring in some Stamp and Seal. This one will just be adhered with some seal. Let's center that up. Now my sentiment, I am going to add my Stampin' Dimensionals. I think I'm going to do 4 on the back. We'll go right across that heart, and then a mini glue dot. Let's add our little knot. Great way to use a little bit less ribbon than tying a bow. I love to use little ribbon knots, and we'll just add that right here to the edge. Oh, how about we do a little stamping on the inside? Yeah, sure, Connie, let's do that. I'm going to use a different stamp. We'll use just the thank you. Again, guys, this is what's great about this stamp set. It's all sorts of different ways to say thanks. I am going to stamp that right here. And now let's come in with those little flowers one more time and add just a little bit. Super cute, right? Look at that. So I went from this fabulous idea and we used our stamp in a little bit different way. All right, let's do one more. All right, this was the Really Sweet, Seriously Grateful for You. It was just, look, we just had some simple flowers. Well, I decided to bring in one of my flower sets, and it really could be anything. But did you notice there were some little splotches there? So what stamp set did I use? I used the Quiet Meadow. So I used this as my flower and some splotches. You notice the splotches here in the background? Watch how fast and easy this card is. Bubble Bath, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4.25. I have 2 pieces of basic white, 3 by 4.5, and a 2.5 by 4. Let's add some speckle here to the sides. Remember, just like our other card, how we only have to go to the outside edges. Nothing else is going to show. I mean, that was quick and easy. All right, we are going to take that basic white. This is the larger one, by the way. So we will add some adhesive, and it's just going to cover up the center right like that. I've inked up my Seriously Grateful for You in my evening evergreen. Now I'll take my flower from my stamp set, and it's really, where do you want to fill in? Okay, and I like to overlap just a little bit, and let's add just a little bit of speckle here. I'm not even going to re-ink. It just adds a little bit. I mean, how easy. Let's bring in those Stampin' Dimensionals. We can add that great little pop. Let's bring in another one of our little small ribbon knots. I'm actually going to add right here at the top. So there we go. We let some inspiration from our kit give us this simple card here. And there we go. What a great way to take that kit and those fabulous stamps. And let's face it, we can do just about anything to create a thank you card. Super easy. I just used what I had in my personal stash. Now, even if you didn't have any of the items that I used, I know you've got something that you could use. Let's say you didn't have a heart. This could just be a little grouping of flowers, kind of like I did here. Don't get locked into it has to look exact, but just let it be your inspiration, a way to jump off and let your creativity soar. Friends, I'm telling you, these kits are awesome as gifts. And even like with my daughter, if she doesn't want this, I know she's going to give it back to me. And then I can continue to use it and create some great cards. But, you know, if I know her, she's going to get a little addicted to creating those cards. But I love that the kits are perfect for her because she doesn't have to have a lot of supplies. She can get to creating. But for those of us like me who love to create our own cards, I'm just using it just as my inspiration.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you guys for joining us. I hope whether you found inspiration in just creating a card kit or the bonus cards that you liked it. If you liked the video, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed, why not be a subscriber? Just click the subscribe button. YouTube will let you know whenever I'm back with a new video, and share with some crafty friends as well, especially if you've got those millennials hanging around that are looking to try something new and get into crafting. Christina, I hope you'll come back and share another video.
Yes,
absolutely.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Go make something amazing. See you next time. Bye-bye.